Hello, nice to see you all again. I am Joseph and welcome back to the course of digital game marketing. Now, this is lecture 4, and I think there are several things that I would like to talk about before we continue to talk about the content for this particular course. Now, I think according to the university announcement, starting from next week, okay, we will have face-to-face section. Now, from the information that I have received, the class will be hybrid. So, I will be in the campus, but I will deliver the class in the particular classroom. So I think the classroom is the same as we have previously announced when you enroll to this particular course, and it will also be broadcast simultaneously on Zoom as well. So I think for student, you are not compulsory to join in, but in case you prefer face-to-face delivery, you are always welcome to come back to the campus. And I think our course has only 26 students, so you don't need to worry about the classroom. I think the classroom is able to take around 30 students. So I think as long as it is less than 15, then I think it is totally okay. Now, so starting from next week, I will be delivering this course in campus, and you could choose whether you could come to the campus or not, or you would like to watch it like this, take the class online like this on Zoom, then that is also totally okay. Well, I am still figuring out how to do those type of technical setting, so you don't need to worry about it. I think I will try to pay a visit to the campus and see if I can have access to the classroom and then try it out before we move on to lecture 5. And I think there is also enough talking, so this is lecture 4, and I think after lecture 4, starting from next week, I will give you something to do. So sometimes it's classwork, sometimes it's homework, sometimes it is some kind of assignment, and then I will also announce the group project, I think, in week 6 or week 7, something like that, so that you could prepare for it. Now, is there anything more that I need to talk about? Yes, I think at the end of this lecture, I will also talk about your grouping as well. So without keeping you waiting, now this is the file that I have prepared for this particular lecture, lecture 4. But as you may know, we still have something to talk about in lecture 3 slide. So I think I will start from where we have stopped in the previous class, which actually talks about the business perspective, where you could find income. Okay, where you could find your income, or where to distribute, how to generate revenue with your product from the digital game, from the business perspective. Now we still have something we need to talk from the previous PowerPoint slide, and then after covering all those material, we will continue to talk about the material that I have prepared for this particular week 4, which I intended to talk about something related to the psychological perspective of game development, okay, or related to the digital game. Okay, so I think okay, we start with this one. So what we are going to do is we do a recap. So in addition to a recap, we will finish what we have left in the previous lecture. And then this week, we will talk about the psychological perspective of the same thing. So it is essentially, in the previous week, we talked about the revenue stream, and I think we have already covered most of them. So in the previous week, we have talked about the very traditional way. It is like you produce a product and then you try to find a customer. So you try to find a customer who would like to take this product from your hand and give you some kind of money in return. Now, digital games is unlike traditional goods. Now, digital games are products that could be replicated easily. So actually, you could continue to duplicate a copy as long as you have the resources. Nowadays, we have digital distribution. That means that physical media is no longer necessary. Now, this is unlike traditional products. Traditional products, in order for you to sell one unit of product, you need to manufacture it. You need to make that one unit of particular product. Now, digital goods, digital games with digital distribution, this is no longer necessary. You could sell it without some kind of physical medium nowadays. That's why a lot of games continue to adopt this sales of goods. It is like selling something to your customer as their major revenue stream. Now, of course, there are other revenue stream. I think we have already covered quite a lot of others. So let me go back to this. Is it? Okay, so here it is the lecture slide of lecture 3. So this is the PowerPoint slide of lecture 3. We have give you some kind of demonstration. Now I have prepared it here for very good reason, which I think in this particular tutorial I will use this one to demonstrate and other concepts to you. Now we have also mentioned that this is some kind of digital distribution. A lot of companies, they have their own ecosystem nowadays, and they want to have their platform specific distribution channel. Now this is something happening now. I will tell you what is going to happen very soon and in the near future. Now, of course, this one I've already talked about. Some of you prefer physical, some of you prefer digital. Well, different camps have their own different fans, so different people will prefer different things, and I have already told you their grounds. And also, in the very traditional way, you have usage fee. If you go to arcade, you insert a coin, something like that, and we have already covered all these. Now, in case the machine is very expensive, you can also use some kind of rental model. So actually it is a three-party relationship. You have the game manufacturer, you have someone who run the arcade center, and you have the customer, you have the player. So it is like the game manufacturer is renting those type of expensive machine to the arcade center, and the arcade center is using those type of machine to earn some kind of revenue from the player. So it is some kind of free parties relationship. Now we have also talked about subscription. Actually, we have more to talk about subscription very soon. Okay, so I will talk about more on subscription today as some kind of a future revenue stream of games. And we have also talked about some licensing. There is a lot of things related to licensing when it comes to intellectual property, when we can come to game franchise, and when we come to a lot of affiliated products. Now I think now I have something to show you. Now this is something that recently sent to me from the manufacturer. Do you know what is it?喂，冇人有反應喎，喂，係咪冇興趣啊？冇興趣唔睇噶啦，嗱，放喺一邊啦。OK， 喂，真係冇啊，咁唔講噶咯喎。Okay, anyway, now in terms of licensing, there is a lot of things that you could do related to this type of licensing. For example, in case you would like to develop a game on a specific platform, some of the platform like the PlayStation or like the Xbox or like the Switch, Nintendo Switch, they will ask you for some kind of licensing fee because you would like to distribute your game on our platform. And some of you in the previous week mentioned that you like PlayStation more than Xbox, as you feel that there are more exclusive titles on PlayStation. Now, I have already told you one of the business secret is that usually if you have exclusive title on that particular platform, it will waive or you will receive some kind of discount for licensing fee. Okay, so some kind of discount for the licensing fee. Just like rumors said that Final Fantasy VII Remake will have an exclusive period of 1 year. So after 1 year, we may see a PC version. Death Stranding, I think the exclusive period just expired, so you could see actually the PC version is now available. Or this Ace Combat, I always use this one as an example because I like this game very much. Now, this game has some kind of VR feature which is only exclusive to the PlayStation. So you could have the game completely exclusive for a period, or you could have some kind of element, some kind of functions exclusive for this particular platform. Now, of course, you also have some kind of licensing like this type of Unity development tool, which actually runs on some kind of subscription model. In case you would like to use their engine to develop some kind of games, so it will see if you are generating how many money annually. So if your company or if your personal revenue is actually less than 100,000 US dollar, well, you could use it for free. But if your revenue is higher than this amount, then they will charge you with some kind of subscription. So based on the revenue generated by the game, okay, using this type of engine. So this is some kind of business model. This is also called licensing. You can say that it is some kind of subscription, but it is not actually some kind of game. It is some kind of development tool. Just like Adobe Photoshop nowadays, you need to subscribe to it. And also some kind of licensing, just like this one that I have already showed you. 你真係冇乜興趣啊！喂，咁你哋 take 呢個 course 做乜㗎？ Now this is actually a Nerf blaster manufactured by Hasbro, this particular company, and this is Halo. Have you heard about Halo? 點啊？有冇聽過 Halo 呢隻 game？ Okay, so this is Halo, and if you play Halo, you will find that this actually MA40 rifle is a very famous weapon in this particular game. So I have already opened it, so you are very lucky to have this chance to look at it here, at least in Hong Kong. Well, some of the foreign YouTubers already have this product shown on their video, but in Hong Kong, it will be starting when? 佢話俾我聽10月1號開始有得賣咯， so it will be available in Toys R Us in Hong Kong starting from 1st of October, so it is 2 days later. So you are seeing something that is not yet in the market yet, so very interesting, and even have some kind of a nice magazine which should sell some foam. And I found that it is nicely scaled. I found it very convenient, very comfortable to hold. So this is and also it's battery operated. Okay, sounds strange, but that is okay. So I will put this aside, and then I will change back to this computer screen. So and also it comes with some kind of add-on, so maybe I could show you this one. So just like here, it tells you something. So there is some kind of code included in this particular box. So you can type in that key into this particular game so that you could unlock the skin of this toy rival. Okay, so in the game, the paint job is a little bit different, but in case you would like to unlock this white with green with black, something like that, it looks like a toy blaster, there is a code in this box which you could type into this particular game and unlock that kind of things. Now, of course, this is something that I have been continually mentioned. This is called licensing. So a game developer usually will not make toys by themselves. They license it to other manufacturers. They license it to other experts. Just like here, you can see some kind of figures. This is 2B from Near Automata. You can see some of my collections. So this is something that I've already shown you in the previous week. This is a Nerf blaster that is crossover with Overwatch, this shooting game. So, and also something that I'm showing to you, this is the blaster from Halo. These are licensing, and usually if a toy manufacturer would like to make some kind of toys using some kind of brand names and design in the game, this toy manufacturer may have some kind of licensing agreement with this particular game developer. Let's say in order to use their trademark, in order to use their design, a lump sum will pay to the game developer as some kind of loyalty or as some kind of licensing. And in addition to that, sometimes the revenue generated from this particular toy may be charged with a certain percentage that will need to send to the game developer as well. So this is what we have licensing. So licensing is usually apply to something related to intellectual property, the use of intellectual property. This is usually what we call licensing. And also licensing not only applies to gaming into the physical world, it could be game crossover. So a video that I have already shown you in the previous video is that this character 2B is also appeared in another fighting game called Soul Calibur 6, and we have real aircraft. We have real aircraft that is included in this Unreal fighter plane action games called Ace Combat 7. So in order to use that particular in order to include that particular aircraft in this game, the game developer usually will seek for a license agreement with the real aircraft designing company, the real aircraft manufacturer, in order to have something from the real world and then bring it to the virtual environment. So you can see that there is a lot of combinations related to this kind of licensing. It could be business model, it could be an exclusive period, it could be use of some kind of development tool, and also it could be game crossover games crossover toys, or real world element crossover games. Okay, there is a lot of things that you could do, okay, in terms of licensing. And usually in terms of the from the business point of view, usually licensing agreement include a price, okay, and the price is negotiated by these two parties. Now also, in case you run a platform, now I will tell you that I have already told you Steam is found by the god of modern gaming, the god, okay, and Steam is actually making a lot of money by selling games. So I buy a lot of games on Steam and I think that in this particular lecture I will also show you some other games as well. Now my most recent brought is this one. I don't know why I've brought it. I myself is not an expert of fighting games, but I brought it for just for the purpose of good memory, okay, in the, when I was studying secondary school, this game was released, and it is some kind of good memory. So even though I played it very poorly, the game itself is quite cheap. That's why I've brought it, and I think it's less than 100 Hong Kong dollar. Okay, yeah, it's less than 100 Hong Kong dollars, so I don't mind. I just bought it and then I just put it into my library. Now I will talk about these later. And also the Apple App Store. And Apple App Store, actually, we have some kind of debate nowadays, is that the conflict between these Epic Games and the App Store. So the App Store license agreement asks that any payment throughout the any payment, Apple will charge 30%. Okay, and you cannot include some kind of third-party payment system, or that is not allowed in the license agreement. But Epic Games, they include some kind of third-party payment solution or their own proprietary payment system to bypass the Apple Commission, and then these two companies crash, and it has been escalated to some kind of legal action and legal debate. Okay, so in case you are interested to see what is happening, you well, it is totally fine. Now let's see this video. I'm not sure, I cannot remember whether I've shown you this video in the previous week.
成功故事唔係一朝一夕，係一點一滴。
On August 13th, one of the biggest games in the world disappeared from the App Store. Fortnite had implemented its own in-app payment system, bypassing Apple's in-house payment network and violating the App Store's rules. But when Apple followed through on its policies and kicked Fortnite off the store, the company got a big surprise. Fortnite had a 65-page lawsuit set to file as soon as they got banned, complete with an extended video parodying Apple's iconic 1984 commercial.
For years they have given us their songs, their labor, their dreams.
Epic set a trap, and Apple walked right into it. Epic pulled the same trick on Google too, so it's going to be taking on both major app stores at once. But there's way more at stake here than just Fortnite. With the App Store, Apple revolutionized the way we distribute software to mobile devices. Google followed that model on Android, and the two companies have been at the center of mobile software distribution ever since. It's an incredibly powerful position to be in, maybe too powerful. But to really understand how that power works, you gotta look at the big picture. 25 years ago, if you wanted to buy this hot new game called Doom, you had to go to the mall and get a physical cardboard box with the game inside it. You got it at a regular store that looked like this, and that store was probably charging the regular retail markup of around 50%. Add in the cost of physically fabricating the boxes and shipping them out to all the malls all across America, and the share that was going to developers was actually pretty small. Fast forward to 2020, and if you want to buy this hot new game called Doom, you go to an online portal like Steam or the PlayStation Store, which will usually take 30% of whatever you're paying. The way those portals see it, it's a great deal compared to how we used to do things. They're taking a smaller cut, and because it's all digital, publishers have to spend a lot less money getting out their product. Apple basically made this shift happen.
Okay, so it's up to here. So in case you are interested to know what happened to these legal actions between these two companies, you are always welcome to well, the link is here in the lecture notes, then you could actually watch it more by yourself. Now, of course, sometimes the player do not require to pay a price in order to play games. Sometimes the game was donated or sponsored by an external party for a purpose. Let's say, for example, I have two examples here. The first one is American Army. So American Army is the official US Army game for the purpose of recruiting troops, which we will talk about this in this lecture. Okay, the official game of the US Army. Now, in the past, when I'm not when I was a little boy, I am so poor I cannot afford those type of games, and American Army is a very nice game because it's free of charge on the internet. So the purpose of having American Army available on the internet and allow all of you to play it for free is that the American Army, okay, the US Army would like to actually make good use of games to recruit troops, okay, to recruit future soldiers to join the US Army. Now, in the past, we have movies like Top Gun, which eventually, after Top Guns was shown in the cinema, there is a large increase in terms of number of people who would like to join the Navy. Now, this is actually the same idea. So by releasing this type of game available to the public free of charge, you could play it as long as you like. Now, the development cost, I think, is covered by the US Army for this promotion purpose, and you could play it for free. Okay, this is for a promotion purpose. Now, there are also some other games that are designed for other purposes. I think you know this movie, Interstellar. So Interstellar also at that time having a mobile game.
When there's a world of options at my fingertips, there are no limits to create a story for
I think at that time when Interstellar was shown in the cinema, I've also downloaded this game on my cell phone, and it's really fun to me because I like this type of flying spaceship theme and all those type of things, and actually it attracts me. Well, actually it is well, it is quite nice to me. Okay, so in terms of gaming, I like this game very much. Okay, so somebody already paid the development cost, covered the development cost, and used game as a tool for promotion, so that as a player you don't need to pay for it, you just need to pay it, you just need to play. Okay, you just need to play. Okay, it's free of charge, and but as long as you play it, you are one of the targeted customer for that promotion campaign. Okay, that promotion campaign. Now, this is something very interesting. Nowadays, we talk about advertising a lot. I think some of you also runs a YouTube channel. You are famous. How many followers do you have in Instagram? 你哋 Instagram 一般嚟講有幾多 follower 嘅？我咧呢度咧，我有兩個同學咧，個 Instagram 嘅 follower 好高喎，真係嚇死我。So I have two students here. I have two students here at CTU. In the Department of Information System. They are KOL. So one of them has 15k followers, okay, and other I think has around 35, okay, 30 to 35k followers. So 3萬5、1萬5咁樣咯。Okay, so they have a lot of followers on Instagram, and because they have a lot of followers, they could afford they could charge some kind of advertisement fee when somebody asks them to have some kind of promotional photos shown in their Instagram. So I don't have a lot of followers for my YouTube channel. That's why I do this free of charge. Okay, that's why I do this free of charge. I don't well, I'm not that famous yet, and in the future I may also talk about perfume as well. Now, I think last week we haven't talked about this in very detail. What about advertisement in games? What is it about? Now, I will show you two examples here. I think you know what kind of company it is, LV, Louis Vuitton. Okay, do you know? So it is one of the famous companies selling luxury products. And I think you also know what is Final Fantasy. Okay, it's a very famous Japanese RPG game made by Square. Now this is a very interesting video that I would like to show you. I think it is several years ago. So interesting. So let's watch this video. Okay, so
what do Japanese video games and high fashion have in common? We're not sure either, but Louis Vuitton must know something we don't. It's enlisted a Final Fantasy character as a model. That's Lightning, the protagonist from Final Fantasy XIII and several spin-offs modeling various LV outfits and handbags. It's the work of the French fashion house's creative director Nicolas Gasquier, who called Lightning a genuine heroine in a recent Instagram post. This isn't wholly unprecedented for Gasquier. The designer's spring 2016 fashion show had more than a hint of anime and video game influences running through it. And in some ways, the campaign makes sense for Final Fantasy as well. The franchise has increasingly become known for its elaborate character and costume designs, some of which are more successful than others. This won't be Lightning's first trip down the runway either. She previously starred in a 2012 ad campaign for Prada along with some of her party members. For Newsy, I'm Grant Sunison.
okay, so a virtual character acting as a fashion model for a fashion company. So for Prada and for Louis Vuitton. Now, of course, this is some kind of advertisement fee that could be charged by, I don't know, maybe they do it for fun. I have no idea about. These are all, well, usually these deals are trade secrets, so I have no idea about the underlying cost or which party is paying which party. But I think it is Louis Vuitton paying some money to Square to use the character. Okay, so I think it's Louis Vuitton who actually is the buyer. Okay, is the buyer. Now, and also, I think some of you actually in your group project poster also mentioned that you like racing games. So this is one of the racing game trailer that I would like to show you. Okay, so good old memories, huh? Good old memories. So in the past I played this game, so I have some kind of ranking in Hong Kong. So before I entered the university, and anyway, now I think this is also my job here, as most of you are marketing students. Now, as you will be working in the industry, the way you look at these promotion product, you should have a different sense compared to, well, when you compare yourself to general public. Just like when you try to compare your viewpoint with your mom and dad, with your parents or your friends who are not marketing or BBA student. Now there are several things. Now, any comments to this video? Do you like it? 點啊？覺得呢條片點啊？係咪拍得好正啊？係咪啊？ Okay, now, as a marketing student, I would like you to pay special attention to these minor details. What are these? What are these? So, some are actually does not exist, so that it may be Alsace village. Alsace is an area in France. So, is it in France, Alsace? In Germany or in France? I have no idea. Maybe in France. So so Toyota's GoPro, something like that. Now, do you think GoPro actually pay a price for advertisement in a game? 使唔使俾錢㗎？定係 or the game developer asks GoPro, can I use your brand, and then I put it as an advertising. Now, and also some other things here. What about this one? Okay, what about this one? And also, I think there are some bigger ones as well, so that you can see here. 我記得你頭先有一個 shot 好正。Okay, here. Okay, AMG. I think this is a Dunlop. Is it pronounced this way? I don't know. Okay, so BMW, Mercedes-Benz. Okay, so sometimes it is an exchange, or sometimes a price will be charged. So I'm not sure if it is the game developer you. Now I'm not. Well, once again, I am not the one who are the insider to know the deal and agreement between these companies. I'm not sure if it is BMW who is paying the game developer to have their brands shown in the game. I'm not sure about Mercedes-Benz. Maybe different company, they have different license agreement as well. So actually it is some trade secret. But as a marketing student, you should pay special attention to these minor details. A product itself consisting of a license from another company, then what does it mean? It may be some kind of advertisement. It may be some kind of agreements as well. So their agreements could be money. Their agreement could be some kind of action. Let's say, for example, BMW, this manufacturer, do not mind to have their cars, their real cars, virtualized and put into this specific games, but in the condition that can I have our company logo shown as an advertisement somewhere in the game? It could be like that. 可以係啲條件嚟嘅 ，OK。It could be some kind of conditions. Well, in case you would like to use our car, it's totally fine. But in exchange, we would like to have our brands shown as some kind of advertisement in the circuit, something like that. Okay, it could be something like that. So these are what I would like to mention it here. As advertising. It may be a price to cover the development cost. Okay, it may be a price, or it may be some kind of license agreement. I can have your cars in the game, but in return I would like to do something. Okay, so these are some of the things that I would like to mention in advertisement. Now, For all these things that I have mentioned, the way related to the revenue stream of selling games as a product, what is the purpose? Now, the purpose is that we have quite a dark history throughout the development of games, especially for computer games. We have a lot of pirate software. Pirate software means 盜版 so means 翻版碟 so I think do you have any idea about what is it? OK， 你哋細個嘅時候仲有冇翻版碟㗎？Okay, still have it. So, luckily, well, our generation gap is not too far. So, when I was young, when we are student, we could not afford the official copy, the genuine product. We may go to some kind of computer center and then look for a pirate copy. Or sometimes, in the old days, you may be your friend. Find that, okay, I have a game, do you like to play it? I can make you a copy, something like that. And in fact, these are considered pirate software, so don't do it now. Especially when you could afford it, you should reward the developer. Now, this is the game that I have shown you in week 1, that is called Game Development Tycoon. And this game was released 5 years ago. It was made very famous for one very interesting business action. So I would like to show you something like that. Now this game is about simulation. Okay, simulating yourself as a game developer. You develop games, you want to sell it. Now, but we have a lot of pirated copies available online. Now, what this company did to promote this game is like that. The day before official release of this particular game, they intentionally have a copy of the game leaked to the internet on using BT or something like that, some kind of seed, something like that on the internet, so that everybody can download it. Okay, everybody can download it. Now, the day before an official release, then a lot of people will think that, oh, this company must be mad, especially when they intentionally do that. Well, very interesting. For the pirated copy, for the leaked copy, there is a glitch. The glitch is this one. It's a private mode. You could not disable it. That means during the development process of your game company, when you are playing this game, you will always receive a notice that your game was being pirated, your game was being stolen, and it is very difficult for your company to continue to survive. This is some kind of education to the gamers that you should buy legal copy. OK， 咁我當時呢一個 promotion 係好出名嘅。Okay, so at that time, this game became very famous because of this promotion strategy. They have some kind of a modification to a game, and then they leak it intentionally to the internet. But that game, you could not survive it, because when you are running a game development company, somebody pirate your game, is very difficult for you to make a profit. And that is why now a lot of games has already moved to digital distribution, especially for PC games. Even if you go to have a boxed copy of PC game, they give you a code, so that code will be entered to Steam and then registered to your account. This is something happening to gaming industry. And as I have promised you, I am going to tell you what is happening now. So I will go back to this lecture 4 slide. So I have already mentioned this. Now, this is something that is happening in the past and in the present. But what about what is happening very soon and into the future? Now, this is an interview that in the previous week I have found on the internet when I am, at night trading US stock. I found that this very interesting video interview with Microsoft EVP of Gaming. his viewpoint is fascinating. So I would like you to watch this interview together with me. He actually, so this year, I think in the previous 2 weeks I have told you, this year is actually the big cycle of a lot of electronic products. This year we have new consoles. This year we have 5G. This year we have new iPhones and a lot of new things. And we have new display cards, revolutionary display cards as well. So this is going to be a big year, and especially we have pandemic. So a lot of people are staying at home, and this is the way they receive entertainment. Now, this is a very good interview that I would like you to watch with me together. He talks about the future gaming product of Microsoft and how he see the current development of this gaming industry. So, let's watch it. Sorry for the advertisement once again. 咁要等等啊，30秒。我呢放上 YouTube 嘅時候已經 cut 咗呢啲廣告去。
Gaming's seeing a real boom right now with so many people stuck at home and looking for entertainment options in their houses. And gaming is just like we're seeing a lot of engagement across the services. So feeling really good about demand this holiday. We just got to make sure we have supply to feed it all.
Hey Phil, this is Dan here. I big gamer. Got a Xbox One X next to all my other consoles. I want to ask you, in terms of performance, we have the X and the S. What does that do for gamers? Does it cause a stratification of gaming? Will it be similar to a kind of high-end PC or a mid-range PC? Will you get the same experience across both systems? How's that going to work?
Yeah, you nailed it. That's exactly right. And, I think you've seen even like the NVIDIA cards that came out this week. There's different performance levels for how big of a role gaming plays in someone's life. And we have the Xbox Series X, which is the most powerful next-gen console from anyone in the market. Feel great about that for 4K gaming for people who want premium. And then the affordable Series S option for people who look at kind of 1080p or 1440p. But it still has, at even the affordable price, it still has the next-gen SSD and all of the CPU work and the kind of high-performance work that's in the upper-level device. It just had a different resolution. We think giving gamers choice about how they enter gaming, especially at a time right now with some economic uncertainty in the market, is really critical.
Okay, so the first thing he talks about is the market differentiation, is the product differentiation. You have one product that is more superior to address for those who think that gaming is very important to their life, and you have a something like a discount, a bargain model to address the general public who wish to enjoy gaming but do not require that kind of very advanced hardware. They would like to save up some money and still enjoy something that is similar to the to the market. Now, this is his first point, okay? But starting from here, this is the most fascinating part. Now, I think as a business student, sometimes when you look at these interviews, look at how these great people sees the future. Okay, what is happening to not only their company, the position of their product, but how they see the development of the whole industry. Okay, so let's continue.
You guys offer Xbox Game Pass with xCloud or Project xCloud, your cloud gaming service. That's $14.99 a month. That's still in beta, but that seems to be where gamers and game companies want to go. So I guess when you look at something like that, and Microsoft is, you could say objectively it's been the most successful as far as getting this off the ground and not having issues with third-party publishers as much. Where do you see then consoles like the Series X and Series S down the line? Do you think once we get this cloud gaming going that we'll see another generation of hardware, or will it all be kind of a conduit for cloud gaming in the future?
Yeah, we're about putting the player at the center. It's not about the device in the middle anymore. And you see that in every other form of media. My TV is with me wherever I go. My music is with me wherever I go. I'm in control of the experience. And I think gaming is going through that same transformation, which is why, as you say, if you're a Game Pass subscriber, you can now play your great games on our Xbox console, on your PC, or now on your Android phone via streaming. One subscription gives you access to your catalog and your community wherever you go, giving players real choice. In terms of future hardware, absolutely, I think we're going to see more console hardware down the road. Just like in video, just like in music, it's not that streaming has cut off device innovation. I think we'll continue to see that, and that's absolutely what we're planning for.
Okay, and I got to ask you about, you guys recently acquired Zenimax Media. They're the parent company of the storied studio Bethesda. They've made some games that I probably have spent way too much time with: Elder Scrolls, Fallout 3, one of my favorite games ever. I guess, $7.5 billion. Microsoft has been sucking up studios, producing its own first-party games. Two questions. One, what does this mean for Microsoft in the future as far as becoming an even heavier hitter when it comes to first-party studios? And two, and this is probably the question that a lot of people are wondering, what does it mean for first-party exclusives for something like an Elder Scrolls? Will we only see that on Microsoft systems, or will it go across other systems similar to what Microsoft has done with Minecraft?
Yeah, really excited about the announcement this week that we intend to acquire Zenimax, an amazing studios there. Takes our overall first-party studio organization to 23 creative studios. Just a real big investment in content. And really, for us, Xbox Game Pass is the flywheel that we're feeding there. We have over 15 million subscribers now for Game Pass, and it continues to grow across console, PC, and now with streaming to phones. And we want to make sure that subscribers to Game Pass feel like they have a consistent set of games to go play. In terms of where games will show up, our commitment is that our games will show up in Game Pass and on PC and on console and be available in xCloud. In terms of other platforms, I think we'll take it on a case-by-case basis. But as the Xbox community, what they should feel is this is a huge investment in the experiences that they're going to have in the Xbox ecosystem. And we want Xbox ecosystem to be absolutely the best place to play. And we think game availability is absolutely part of that.
All right, Phil Spencer, Microsoft Executive Vice President of Gaming. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, so he have talked about something very interesting related to the future. He talks about the transformation of this industry. Now, this is something that I would like to guide you to think about. What had happened to the music and TV industry? And can you see something that he had mentioned? So he have seen some kind of transformation related to the music and TV industry, and now it is happening to the gaming industry. Now I think some of you, how many of you subscribe to Apple Music? 有幾多個人用緊 Apple Music？ 咁啊，有冇人？我妹就玩緊 Apple Music 啦。Okay, so some of you do, some of you don't, and then how many of you subscribe to Netflix? Netflix. Okay, Netflix. A lot of yes. Okay, now in the past, when you would like to watch something on TV, then very likely then you after school go back home, turn on the TV, and whatever the TV station is broadcasting, you are receiving that information. Now Netflix actually revolutionized that. Actually Netflix provided a lot of things on demand, and actually Netflix also charge you by subscription, so that you pay a monthly fee, and well, you could watch as much as you like. So it is the same price for all you can get. Okay, all you can get, all you can watch. Now the same transformation, according to the Microsoft, is actually following the footstep of the music and TV industry. Now, instead of going to some kind of shop to buy a CD and then listen to music, nowadays you listen to music by going to YouTube, okay, or by subscription to some kind of music service like Move, like Apple Music, something like that, or other music service. You use this type of subscription service. He see that gaming in the future will follow the same footstep, just like in the near future you buy a console but you subscribe to a service instead of buying a game. Okay, instead of buying a game, you pay a monthly fee, and once you pay that monthly fee, you could play as much as you like in that particular ecosystem. Now Microsoft is doing it this way so that they have some kind of xCloud subscription service. Every month you pay around $15, and then you could have game that you could have the same game that could be streamed to your console, let's say Xbox in this particular case. You could play it on PC, you could play it on Android phone, something like that. So one price, you could play the same game everywhere with the same experience, as you are not required to have some kind of very heavy duty hardware at your home. Actually, all those type of rendering was done on the server side and streamed directly to your phone, so that your phone do not require to be very powerful. Your notebook PC do not require to be very powerful. But all the things is done online. All the things are done on the cloud and then send it to your device. Now, this is how he sees the future, and this is how the whole gaming industry is seeing. Okay. Now, a lot of different IT companies, they see this cloud gaming future. Cloud gaming is happening. So subscription in the past is mostly used by MMORPG, like World of Warcraft, like EVE Online, these type of subscription games. Now, they step up the game. Okay, so instead of only subscribing to one particular game, you subscribe to a platform, you subscribe to an ecosystem. So they could have a lot of games, let's say 100, 200 games on that particular platform, and you pay a subscription. So every month you pay a fee, and then you could play as much as you like. So game business models switch from buying a specific game to subscription to a cloud gaming service. Now every company, they are doing very similar things. So the first thing is the Microsoft xCloud, which this Microsoft EVP of gaming actually talking about. This is the Xbox Game Pass. Okay, you have this ultimate plan, $15 a month, and then you could have access of 100 high quality games for consoles, PC and Android phones. Okay, you could also play it, well, Xbox Game Studio title on the same day as it release. Okay, so these are some of the things that is happening to the gaming industry now. And then we have this in case you are doing PlayStation. Now PlayStation use another approach. Okay, so PlayStation now, hundreds of PS4, PS3, PS2 games available on demand. So when you subscribe to it, you could also play this type of big titles, download or stream huge game collection, something like that. Okay. Now, some of the games could be downloaded to your console. Some of the games is actually played over somewhere. Now, so a plan for 1 month is $10. So if you buy a year together, it is 60. So that is around $5 a month. Okay, so you have Blockbuster Heat, something like this. See latest game. Okay, we we could see the latest games available. So you have these games available on their platform. And not only PlayStation, you could also do it on PC as well. Okay, you can also play it on a PC as well. So it is streamed directly to your PC. You don't need a powerful PC. Okay, so this is something happening to PlayStation now. We have Apple Arcade, of course, but I'm not sure if Apple Arcade comes with some kind of big titles. I think these are games more focused on phones and also tablets. I'm not sure if it is equally good for the TV and for the notebook. Now Google is doing something very similar. They have this Stadia. Okay, Stadia. They have this service with also some kind of big titles, and Amazon is doing the same thing. Now some of you may be having a headache whether you are going to upgrade your display card to the latest 3080, something like that. Now these are some of the cloud gaming services that I have described. Now the games is actually over there. Okay, now I think Nvidia use a different approach, is that their implementation of cloud gaming is a little bit different. So they provide you a virtual desktop so that you could install your own game instead of subscribing to a particular platform. So this is how Nvidia do it. So they have a server doing a lot of graphical processing for you, but actually that runs like a PC. So it's like a PC somewhere, and then you could have access to that particular PC using your tablet or cell phone. Okay, now I think I should pause here to give you 10 minutes break, and I also need to go to the toilet as well. So I think what about we continue at 4 o'clock? Okay, so let's continue. Okay, now so before the break we have finished talking about the future. The future is gaming by subscription, cloud gaming services. So you pay a fixed monthly fee for the games. Okay, so play as much as you like. Okay, so this is one of the possible future that you can see in. I think it will be available very soon. I think, well, maybe later this year or maybe starting from next year, you will have game as a service. Okay, game as a service, cloud gaming services, cloud gaming subscription, and you could also have big titles available on this subscription service as well. Now, especially when Microsoft is purchasing another game studio, so their games will be available day one on their subscription platform. Okay, now the next thing that I would like to talk about for this particular course is that, well, we know that a game could have multiple ways to, well, earn revenue. There are a lot of ways for you to sell it or to make money from your product. But ultimately, you need to think about your customer. Now, you are a marketing student. I think you will be more familiar you will be more familiar in this area compared to me. So I will not say I'm the expert, but I think I'm just sharing my personal experience or sharing my personal something that I have researched before. And we need to, as a business person, we know that I can have this way to make money from my product. But ultimately, you need to ask a question. Why do they buy your game? Why do they buy your game? So why do players buy games? This is something that we would like to discuss in this second half of lecture 4. Now, we try to look at the business model canvas once again, and we try to look for some kind of insights that are related to decision making or related to the customer himself or herself. Now, there are, I think, 3 elements here in the business model canvas which are related to the decision making of a particular customer. Now, when we draw this type of business model canvas, it talks about the value proposition. Okay, what kind of value was being generated to this particular buyer? We talk about customer relationships, and we also talk about customer segments. So we try to make good use of these 3 boxes in the business model canvas, and then we continue to discuss about the psychology, about the purpose why a person is buying a game from you. Okay, buying a game. Okay, why should they play? Why should they buy? Now, ultimately, you need to go to the market, and then you want your game to sell, to be able to sell to the market, so that your brilliant plan of enjoying revenue could be implemented. Well, if you have customer. So here I would like to talk about several things. Now, first of all, I will talk about traditional thinking. Okay, the traditional way of understanding business model canvas. And like our discussion in the previous week, after talking about the traditional way of understanding that particular box in the business model canvas, we look at whether it could be applied to the game industry. What is the similarities and what is the difference? Okay, so we try to understand that particular box, and then we look for some kind of examples, we look for some kind of a case study, and then we talk about it further. Now, the first thing that I would like to investigate is value propositions. Now, I think from the marketing point of view, you talk about the value being generated from buying or using that particular product. In case you are running a startup, you are proposing some kind of business, your potential investor will always ask you a question: what kind of values that you are going to generate for your customer? Now, from the business model canvas, there are 2 main choice of value propositions. The first one is quantitative. The second one is qualitative. Now, quantitative is a little bit easier to understand. It means that you go for the budget, you go for a bargain choice. So you are like fighting a price war with your competitors or in a specific market. Okay, or in a specific market, so that people will be buying that particular product from you at a relatively lower price or bargain price or a competitive price compared to other offerings in the same market. Now, if we look at it from the game point of view, I think in the previous week we have talked about freemium. So you could, nowadays there are a lot of games on App Store that is free of charge. You could download, you could play it without paying anything. Okay, so sometimes they will show you some kind of advertisement that is totally okay if you don't mind, and some of you may have a limited amount of rounds that you could play for a particular day. And afterwards, in case you would like to play another round, you play an extra round, well, you have 2 choices. You could wait for another day, or you could pay for some kind of credit or something like that. So this is what we call well, if we look at games, if you are selling some kind of games, or if you are looking at the psychology, you try to understand the behavior of your customer, understanding the behavior of a gamer. If we talk about quantitative, maybe price is one of the concern. they are playing this game because it's free of charge. Okay, to them, if I'm not paying any money for some kind of extra advantages in the game, so it is essentially free to play for this particular group of people. So this is why they are playing that particular game. Now there are other players, they look at it from the qualitative perspective. Why are they downloading one game that is free of charge? Or why are they buying these type of big titles? Well, this one, the trailer I've already showed it to you, and I think you know what kind of game this is. Now, these games, you need to go and buy one. So unlike those type of freemium games that you could download for free, what are they looking for? Now, one of the explanation is that these players are actually looking for fame, looking for experience. Experience is not related to 經驗. Experience is about experience product. So experience product is like something related to your sensation. Like perfume, these are experience product. You spray and then you enjoy the scent. Okay, and maybe you are driving a car. Driving a car is not only for convenience, but a lot of people driving a car for a good driving experience. Okay, so a lot of players, they may go for this direction. So why am I buying a game? The reason is that they look for high quality products. They look for brand names. They look for famous producers. Okay, I don't know. Okay, so they look for famous producers. They look for famous publishers. So it may be games from famous companies. So some kind of brand names, brand related to a person, brand related to a particular game franchise. Some of them, because of they are looking for some kind of better experience, so they enjoy those type of graphics. They enjoy those type of big titles, and they enjoy playing it with next generation consoles. So if we look at the decision, or if we look at a particular game, what kind of value is being delivered to a particular person, to a particular player, you can look at it like this. Now, it comes to a point, that's why I think you have learned this at the very early years of your university education. It's called the Maslow hierarchy of needs. It tells you that actually different persons, your needs may be different, and ultimately when you try to fulfill the bottom needs, after your bottom needs are being fulfilled, you will escalate to ultimately a self-actualization. Now, what is the value of game here? So some of them, if they are playing some kind of games, some of them maybe they just want to be loved. So these are some kind of social needs. They play it because, well, their friends play it. Animal Farm, okay, is it something like this? Okay, so 玩動心嗰啲啊, so a lot of people playing that particular game. Animal Crossing, not Animal Farm, sorry, I remember correctly, Animal Crossing. So a lot of people playing that kind of Animal Crossing, that kind of games, because they could socialize with their game. They could socialize with their friends. Now, and also, when we talk about self-actualization, now, I think games like Animal Crossing do not have a specific objective of what you need to do in your island. Okay, you set up your own goal. Maybe your objective is to build a beautiful island. Maybe your objective is to fill up the museum. Okay, catch all insects and fishes that could be caught and then put it in the museum. You collect all the arts from that particular fox. Well, different person may have a different goal in a particular game. Okay, and some of them found that kind of satisfaction in your game, okay, in the game that is available in the market. That's why they are, when we talk about qualitative, why are they buying for this game? You may look at their needs. Some of them may have some kind of social needs. Some of them may just simply like challenges. Now, some of the people, they talk about the case like this. Now, when you try to compare a game with sport, game and sport, in sport we have professional players. Okay, a lot of sport, they have professional players. Football, do you have any idols for football players? Do you have any idols for football players, famous football players, famous basketball player? Do you have that kind of person in your mind? Now, there are professional athletes in this world, and a lot of people, they just admire their idol, but they cannot be one of them. If you talk about sports, there are a lot of predefining factors. Just like me, or just like Chinese people, we are usually shorter compared to Western people. Okay, and this is not an advantage. This is a disadvantage to some of the sports. Now, these are some of the predetermined factors that you cannot change. Now, a lot of people find satisfaction in a game for this particular reason. Because in a game, in a traditional sense, okay, a game will have a fair start. What does it mean? It means that no matter you are from a rich family or no matter you are from a poor family, no matter you are a boy or a girl, no matter who you are, we start with the same condition. Just like an RPG game, you start with level 1. Okay, you start with level 1, and then you continue to build up your character to make it stronger. You start with the same rules. So a lot of people will think that in this physical world, a lot of advantages was given to you because of your family, because of your country, or because of all other factors. But game is so fair. So if you play in a game, as long as I am hard working to train up myself, I could be equally competitive to so many players in this world. 佢哋鍾意呢種公平性。Okay, so game provide this group of people a satisfaction because they could, no matter who they are, they could start with the same ground, and they could climb up the ladder as long as they are hardworking enough. Okay. Now, another thing is that related to customer relationship. So we have this particular block. Okay, customer relationship. Now, from the traditional business canvas point of view, customer relationship talks about 3 elements, talks about 3 things. How to attract new customer to buy your product or to enjoy your service. How to make sure your existing customer return and continue to buy something from you. And ultimately, is your company growing with the need of your customer? Let's say if you have watched my business model canvas video, you will see that I have I'm a boy and I don't know why I have some kind of skincare product received from this particular cosmetic company. Well, I collect perfume, but a lot of this type of cosmetic things are totally irrelevant for me. So for example, I have these that are reserved for my sister. Well, absolutely I don't really need these, but sometimes when you go to buy some kind of perfume for collection, they will give you this type of sample for a very good reason. Now, let me explain these. Now, first of all, as for any company, okay, not only digital gaming company, for any company. The first thing you need to do is to reach your customer. Okay, so maybe it is related to marketing, maybe it is related to word of mouth. This is common to a lot of different industry. Is that first of all you need to reach out to your new customer. And nowadays I think marketing is continually how to say, easy to produce. A lot of people, they just use their Instagram, use their YouTube, and then can easily promote their products. I think it is becoming easier and easier. In the past, you don't have that type of channels. So the first step is that you need to reach out customer. But once you are their customer, there is another question that you need to ask. Is that when you have some kind of customer that is buying something from you, what can you do to attract them to return? Let's say the same product is continually improving. Okay, just like a lot of perfume that I have collected. Okay, I've brought one bottle, and then I've brought another bottle, and then I've bought a third bottle, something like that. So my collection is growing. Now, in terms of gaming, let's say I think BUS380 is a very good example in terms of this. Now, this is the company who produce games like Warcraft, Overwatch, Diablo, StarCraft, and World of Warcraft. Okay, so these are the games with a long history. So you can see Warcraft is already Warcraft 3. World of Warcraft have a long history, I think 10 to 15 years already. Overwatch is relatively new, so I will talk about Overwatch later. So Diablo is already Diablo 3, and we are waiting for Diablo 4. And StarCraft is already StarCraft 2, and then I think under StarCraft 2 you have a lot of iterations. I think they have 3 iterations for Warcraft 2. So these are long-running franchise with a well-established fan base. So this is what we call returning customer. Once, just like me, once you play Diablo 2, you will play Diablo 3, and then you will go to play Diablo 4. Okay, very likely that you will do this because you are a loyal customer. You will return to buy an improved version of the same product. Now, finally, as any company, they need to think about some additional things. Is that how could you attract your existing customer to buy something new? That's why I always receive some kind of skincare and cosmetic and makeup product from this perfume producing company. Well, I have absolutely no use for those, but the purpose is that they also want to grow with me. Okay, they also want to grow with me. So they have no idea whether in the future I have a chance to buy that for another person or for whatever reason. But if I have received some kind of sample, and if I have tried that particular sample, or if my sister found that sample is particularly good in quality, maybe she will ask me, and then I will return. So in addition to buying perfume, I will buy additional products like cosmetic, like skincare products, something like that. Gaming is something similar. Now, if you are a fan of BUS380, maybe originally you only play StarCraft, but maybe they come up with another very attractive title like Overwatch. Overwatch is quite a new game. And when they have a new franchise or a series release, maybe you are interested to play this type of game, so that your relationship with this particular company, not only with one line of product, but multiple lines of product. This is what we call it product line expansion. So a lot of companies, they always need to increase their product lines. For a gaming company, maybe they need to expand the number of franchise in order to attract existing customer to buy something extra. So this is from the customer relationship point of view, from the business model canvas, to look at game industry. Now, some kind of sidetracking information is this new game company called Dreamhaven. I think you have already noticed that. This is Dreamhaven. Now, Dreamhaven was found by someone from Blizzard Entertainment. That particular person retired already, but after several years of retirement, he established a new game company called Dreamhaven. Now, this company was newly established. They have studios, but they don't have games yet. They are at the beginning stage of creating their very first game, and I am also looking forward to their first product. Now, this also tells you something. It is related to the relationship, not only to a company, but also it could be from a famous game producer. Okay, so this is also possible. Now, in terms of this famous game producer, now in the past I've played Dracula X and惡魔城, and several years ago, a producer actually, the producer of惡魔城and the producer of Dracula X actually come up and then did a crowdfunding. Okay, they get crowdfundraising to say that, okay, I would like to make a sequel of Dracula, but actually the license is now held by Konami and other Japanese game company. That's why he used his personal fame and attract a lot of crowdfunding support and create a new game that is very similar. Do you want to have a look? Okay, so I hope that it could run well. 嗱，我唔知 work 唔 work 㗎。So this is not something planned, so I take out my Xbox controller to give you a preview of what is this game about. Okay, now before I talk about this game, so this is a demonstration for a product line expansion or use of personal fame. You are following a particular game developer, you would like to see his sequel. Now I think you Dracula X. Okay, so it is okay, so it is this game, something like this one. So it is very old, so it's in 1997. And I think
Aurochs.
so it is like an adventure in a castle, in case you have no idea about what this game is about. Now I'm going to show you the same producer producing another franchise. Now let's see if it works. I'm not sure if it will work or not. Okay, Bloodstained.我諗其他 course 唔會有呢啲咁嘅 demonstration 嘅話。Okay, so this is Bloodstained. So I try to lower the sound a little bit. Okay, so this is actually the spiritual sequel to the game Dracula X. yeah. Okay, I need to make sure that I am... Okay, I have already remembered the control. So, you actually travel around the castle and oh. Okay, so this is the... So that you can see the graphics actually also improved quite a lot. Okay, now you have the idea. Okay, so let me end this game and then I will continue the lesson. Okay. So seems you like my demonstration. 好啦，咁咧就繼續咯喎。Okay, so sometimes you follow the same producer. Sometimes you follow the same game producer because he is famous. You like his previous title, and then you continue to follow the products made by this particular person. And here I have already shown you Dreamhaven is one of the examples. So this retired game producer actually left Blizzard, retired, and then now he start a new game company. And he has this particular game company has 2 studios. Okay, and in case you are interested, you could also join. So it is this particular guy. So that is this guy. Okay, now let's move on. Now another thing is it is about the customer segments. Another point that I would like to talk about is about customer segments. Now in the game that I have showed you is called Game Dev Tycoon. You could pick actually the platform, and in fact the platform is associated with a particular group of audience. So the game itself, the Game Dev Tycoon, this simulation is actually a simplified reflection of what is happening to this game industry. Now, of course, you could have a product targeted to the general public or targeted to a niche market. Let's say you have Apple Watch for everybody, or you could have a Rolex that targeted to those who really appreciate the value of that particular mechanical watch made in Switzerland. Okay, so you could have different products targeted to different customer segments, and games is the same. Okay, it could be gender specific. So I think girls, maybe you like different games compared to boys. Boys, maybe you are more interested in those type of strategy actions. And girls, maybe you are more attached. I will use my sister as an example because I always observe what kind of games he or she like. No, that she like. So she recently keep on playing Animal Crossing with her friend. And also she likes Japanese RPGs. She is quite attached to the Final Fantasy series. So she played every Final Fantasy game. Okay, she played every Final Fantasy game. And she brought every PlayStation because of Final Fantasy. This is her. And I myself is a boy, so I like those type of strategy. I like games that require some kind of mental process or some kind of skill, just like racing games, just like military, flying an aircraft, those type of games. There are games that are age specific. Now, I think you have already seen Dracula X or Bloodstain that I have already shown it to you. I think in the previous week I have already shown you this one. You have Mario that is actually targeted to the young audience. So it is mainly for kids. Now, I would like to show you games that I like. It is this one. So I have this here for a good reason. So these are the games that I like. Okay, I will show you the original Command & Conquer Remastered. So when I was in secondary school, I played these sort of games. And it has been in my mind throughout all these years. And when the remasters was released, actually I am very happy. And I buy it immediately. And also on my YouTube channel, I have some recordings of different missions as well. So different person have different attachment for different games. My sister like Japanese RPG. I like strategies. So maybe I could I think I will show you some kind of videos. So I think I will show you the okay, I think I will show you the end game video.
Your efforts have landed us here, my faithful friend. The temple is complete, and we are about to embark upon our
okay,
great
this one. Okay. So when I was in secondary school, I played these sort of games, and I learned a lot of military things, military terms. Okay, and also I can show you other videos as well. So maybe we can play the introduction part. Oh, I want a section that yes, Kane.
Well done. You are truly becoming Kane's favorite. How would you like to ensure your place in the highest echelons of Nod? Surely you are ambitious enough to take on a mission of tremendous magnitude. Your goal is so secret, even Kane knows nothing of it yet. You see, power shifts quickly in the Brotherhood. I've taken the liberty of dispatching your troops to the U.S. Kane has been loath to attack America, but I feel that it's time, and that you're the one to do it. This is the Pentagon. A full frontal attack with your strongest forces should render their military center of operation.
Yes.
And then Kane appear in person.
I am Kane. When I get your troops back from the States, I want you to take what men you have left and secure this abandoned GDI base. Once in, build up an arsenal of weapons and use them to wipe out the remaining GDI presence. Oh, and congratulations on your promotion.
And allowed me to connect this one first before I keep on talking. Okay, so I will keep it here for later demonstration, and I will show you a mission as well. So these are the games that I So these are the games that I really enjoyed when I was a kid. And different person actually have different reason to like a game or to play a game. So Everybody is a little bit different. There are gender difference. There are gender difference that are age specific. There are also other specific targets. Let's say, for example, maybe games targeted to a very specific group of people, like train you as a pilot, some kind of simulator. Maybe it only target to a very specific market. Now, let me once again remind you what is happening to this family com.冇畫面嘅喂，淨係得聲。Okay, so you can see the graphics and the design has a huge difference. Okay, has a huge difference compared to the game that I have recently showed you. Look at this Mario. The direction is absolutely different. Okay, so I will press the reset button, and when I demonstrate here，咁啊啲同學叫我玩星之卡比，星之卡比喺邊啊 ？OK， 星之卡比 ，OK。So you can see it's very cute. So absolutely, this is more targeted to a kids instead of that kind of military mind. So my sister is more like a Japanese kid. Me is more like a Western kid. So Western kid, they like military, they like wars. My sister will enjoy these sorts of games. Okay, something like this, more cute. Okay, it's like a very nice graphic. Okay. Okay. Okay, so I think the demonstrations really show you the purpose here. Now, okay, so now when we talk about this type of customer segment, I need to talk about this ESRB. Now, a lot of games. Okay, this is the Japanese standard. This is Japanese standard is different things, but I think I will align with the textbook and talk about the US standard. Now, this is the ESRB. Now, I think in Hong Kong, when you go to watch movie, you have different gradings. You have grade 1, you have grade 2A, you have grade 2B, and then you have grade C. Now, in the past, before 1993, there is no regulation related to what kind of contents that you could put into a game. And history is very interesting. And in 1993, 2 games was specifically mentioned in the US congressional hearing. So I think I should show you this video to talk about the interesting history about game rating system.
Was until they saw it for themselves.
Okay, so here.
They argued that video game violence had gone too far, and the US government agreed. So in 1993, the Senate gave the industry an ultimatum. Regulate yourselves, or we'll do it for you. From that order, the entertainment...
Okay, so because it looks like it is out of control, that's why the US government give an order. So you try to regulate yourself, or we will regulate you. Okay, so this is what happened.
Entertainment Software Rating Board was born, more commonly known as the ESRB. you can see the effects of it on any video game you buy today. This is the story of a few games that permanently changed the industry and the way we buy video games. In the mid-80s and early 90s, rap went mainstream. MTV came into its own. Cartoons got edgier. But as the entertainment industry pushed the envelope, politicians and advocacy groups pushed back. They wanted to protect children from inappropriate lyrics and images. So music, television, and even video games came under fire. There were Senate hearings to discuss so-called porn rock, where everyone from John Denver to Twisted Sister frontman Dee Snider defended the music industry. A group known as the Parent Music Resource Center created a list of 15 songs that they said should be banned from radio airplay, known as the Filthy 15. The group successfully campaigned for parental advisory labels on music. TV didn't have it easy either.
Beavis and Butthead is MTV's most popular show, drawing 4 times MTV's average audience. But some don't find the two protagonists poignant. They think they're dangerous.
Breaking the law, breaking the law. Let's burn something.
Just last week, an Ohio mother claimed her 5-year-old son set fire to his family's trailer and got the idea watching Beavis and Butthead playing with a lighter. His 2-year-old sister died in the fire.
In the wake of the controversy, MTV moved Beavis and Butthead to a later time slot and put a disclaimer before each episode. There were also Senate hearings to discuss television violence. Meanwhile, video games evolved at an unprecedented rate. They became more colorful and complex. Players' capabilities expanded, and the storylines grew. All of a sudden, players weren't fighting abstract pixelated enemies, and that became a problem. Ultimately, 3 games sparked the controversy: Mortal Kombat, Night Trap, and Lethal Enforcers. Mortal Kombat was the most commercially successful game. Developed by Midway, it hit arcades in 1992.
Well, Mortal Kombat is still available nowadays. Okay, of course, not the original one, so they have new ones.
And was the #1 arcade game that year. But it really gained notoriety in 1993, when Acclaim Entertainment launched a $10 million campaign to celebrate its multi-format release onto the home console scene. Dubbed Mortal Monday, there were sweepstakes and commercials to promote the event. They even played previews in movie theaters. The campaign brought a lot of attention to the game, but it wasn't all good. Suddenly, a lot more people were aware of the game's violent content. Sega's version was much more graphic than Nintendo's. By putting in a code, players could unlock blood during combat. Sega also kept in the gruesome finishing moves. You can decapitate an enemy and watch their spinal cord dangle, or rip an opponent's heart out of his chest. Meanwhile, Nintendo replaced all the blood with sweat and toned down the finishing moves. As a result, Sega's version easily outsold Nintendo's. Then there was Night Trap, a full-motion video game released on the Sega CD. Although significantly less popular than Mortal Kombat, Night Trap was just as controversial. Developed by Digital Pictures as a campy parody of a vampire movie, the player's goal is to protect a slumber party of scantily clad women from alien vampires. But it got the attention of politicians and parents for its depiction of violence against women. Finally, there was Lethal...
Okay, so this is the idea. Games in those days are not regulated, and that's why these 2 games are specifically mentioned in the congressional hearing in 1993 and talks about their violence nature, and the US government would like to have a regulation on digital games. So that nowadays you have ESRB, which is this rating system. It is like an age group, and also it includes some kind of warning messages that well, I will show you the warning messages. Well, this one, okay, fantasy violence, mild language, violence, suggestive themes, intense violence, strong language, something like that. So nowadays you could see that these rating systems are available to a lot of games. Like you have blood, you have violence, you have language, you have nudity, you have gambling, and you have sex. Okay, so these are something that nowadays appear on the cover of any games. Before you buy, you could make a decision. And this is also some kind of very interesting effect in that particular year. Originally, Mortal Kombat and Night Trap is not very famous, but after the congressional hearing, it is just like an indirect free of charge promotion for the Sega console. So Sega also used this opportunity to differentiate themselves from Nintendo. So Sega, they try to position themselves as, we make games for teens, you make games for kids. So I have already showed you my Famicom system with games that are targeted to kids. Then I think it is better for me to show you games made by Sega in that particular era.
In an age where dinky versions of classic beloved
So this is a remake similar to my Famicom. Okay, this is a remake.
All-in-one retro console ever made. With a lineup of 42 mostly quality games, great UI and software handled by legendary software company M2, catchy menu music, and some trademark M2 surprises, this is the high watermark against which all retro mini consoles should be measured.
Okay, so you can see the design of Sega is more focusing to teens, make it looks cool. Okay, make it looks cool to kids. So this is more cute and cartoonish character. This is more stylish. Okay, this is more kind of a stylish production. This is how Sega position themselves compared to Nintendo. Now I think you know this rating system. Then I think this is a university course, and I think I need to give you some description related to what is the difference for different age group. Now, how many of you have heard about this Erikson stage of psychological development? How many of you learned psychology before? 有冇人學過 psycho 啊？喂 Okay, some of you said yes. So you have some training about psychology. Now, if you have learned about psychology, psychology must mention this Erikson stage of psychological development. It basically try to divide a human stage of development to different stages and talk about what is the virtue and what is the person who would like to achieve in that particular age. Let's say, for example, now I'm not sure if you will play any games when you were a baby under 2, so we will ignore this one. Now, I think very likely that you will not buy games for yourself when you are under age of 8. It is very likely that maybe your family or your parents buy that particular game or select that particular game for you. Now, I would like you to have special attention here is about middle childhood and adolescent here. Now, these are the group of people who I think in this particular age group, this may be the first time they engage into gaming. And at this age of development, the important peers will be their neighbors, their schoolmate, their role model, and what they are after is they try to explore and define their identity. They look for who they are. Okay, they try to establish their own identity. And when you reach the age of adulthood, that's why just something I think is similar to your age now. you are looking for love, you are looking for intimacy, okay, and your important peers will be your partner and friends 咁所以所有年青人都係咁啦。You always when you reach the age of this 18 to 20 to 20 something, you will look for a boyfriend or girlfriend. Okay, so this is described in psychology. But what if we look at this different stage of a person development and look at what kind of games that they play? You could see the strategy of Sega. They try to target this group of people instead of this group of people or this group of people. So Sega, they try to target at teens, adolescent. They try to make it looks cool. But for Nintendo, this one, okay, it is more like this one, more cute, more funny, less violence. But Sega, they try to make it cool. They try to make it quick. They try to make the action stand out. They try to differentiate themselves in advertisements, saying that cool kids will play Sega. And also, surprisingly, this is something that I would like to mention, is that surprisingly, girls like Pac-Man. I'm not sure about the Asian market. I think you have some idea about what is Pac-Man. So Pac-Man is this particular person. And when Pac-Man was released in 1980s, Pac-Man was a surprise hit, and especially they found that girls like Pac-Man, and Pac-Man even have their own cartoon movie.
Pac-Man. That's me. Pac-Man. Oh, I must have those power pellets. Go find me the power pellet bonus.
Okay, so Pac-Man even have their own animations, and they found that Pac-Man is surprisingly attractive to female in the Western market. Now, I think before I end this tutorial, I have already showed you this game that I have tried already. Now, I think I have talked too much, and I think my computer is now a little bit lag, so that I think it need to rest a little bit. So I think I will keep this childhood and adulthood, and also I will start to talk about marketing strategies in the next lecture. And also in the next lecture, I think I will give you some classwork so that you could start do something. So, okay, start to do something. I think there is enough introduction even if you have no idea about the gaming industry. After these 4 lectures, you will have already have some kind of idea about what is happening related to this gaming industry. So I think of course I have some additional things to talk about, but I need to stop the recording first. I will end the recording here. So bye bye.